All right, well, back for game two here, doing a separate video for this John P versus Cody Wheel of Stipulation Deathmatch Extravaganza, and took them a few minutes to get sorted, which is why we have a second separate video here. But they're playing with only the cards from their punishment packs. So they both have 10, so they're on an even playing field as far as that goes. So nothing from their original starting pool, just the punishment pack. So probably about half the deck or half their cards are from March of Machines, and the other half from whatever sets they opened. So what's Cody built here?
Well, we were on green black last time, so we're on green black again. It's just kind of how it works now. Unfortunately, instead of having two Vorinclex, we're only able to play one
Oh no.
in this stipulation.
Yeah. So John's decided on a blue black build here. Looks to be two colors. Just trying to play his
Very
best
reasonable.
cards. Here comes this. Yeah, we saw this Varagoth last game. It got fought. This time, so John's deciding what to do here. He has a Timoret. He has Karuga, his former companion from the last game. He has
Mm-hmm.
Invasion of Vryn and a Swamp. He might just flip his Ether Blade Agent to best block the Varagoth. No,
I don't see anything wrong with also playing this invasion. Right? It's good tempo play. He's not
yeah,
really messing with it, and maybe like the cards that he draws could help him. Over on Cody's side, he's got 4 lands, which include 3 on the battlefield, plus a bladed fan, right? The
yeah,
indestructible fan,
yeah.
a deadly derision, which he currently can't cast, and then a couple of other cards from sets I honestly don't really know just from the
Okay,
art. So we'll have to wait till they play. It'll be a nice surprise.
okay. So maybe some older sets in play here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a fun league because once you, I mean, you could shop off plane right away, but basically everybody has to shop off plane at some point and open sets
Hmm.
other than March of Machines, and so we're gonna get to see. John has a couple of Theros cards in his hand now from
Mm,
that Invasion of Vryn, Myers Grasp, which gives -3/-3, and a Deny the Divine, which is a counter spell.
sure.
All right,
We see
so
the battle fan coming in, taking care of the 1/1, which I think is really the only major
yeah,
now.
this Vargoth is gonna get grasped by the Mire here, unless Cody can do something to prevent that.
Now he picked up a 2/2 vehicle that taps
Okay.
something when it comes into play.
Oh,
Pretty
the
middling
the
card.
hover bike. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing fantastic about it, but the fact it could be important.
Yep. There it is. I mean, it's a little threat here. It's a nice 2 damage pecking in here. John doesn't have any way to answer it really. He's holding up his Deny the Divine, which counters a creature or an enchantment, and then it exiles
Yeah.
it. So he's going to
Oh,
be
I
looking
see.
at
This 5 mana
something.
card it's a 5 mana 4/4 that gives some +1/+0 and indestructible. Otherwise, obviously, you're going to see the poacher
Oh,
here
is that
from
the Rage
Ikoria.
Scarred Berserker or something like that?
Yes, that is exact.
Hmm.
Something similar. It's tough to read with the thing here, but
Yeah, it's all good. we'll see it when and if it comes out. But all right, get get the fan there and pass it. Yeah, so he's drawn Dismal Backwater. He's just going to play Karuga. He gets to draw 2 cards here, so
yeah.
that's a
Notably,
big
the
game.
invasion does count. Sometimes you forget about it on your opponent's side of the battlefield.
Yeah, and even if an invasion flips, as long as it's still on the battlefield as a permanent, it'll still count. He's drawn Deal Gone Bad, which is a pretty inefficient removal spell. 4 mana for a -3/-3, and I believe it makes them mill as well.
Yeah, not terribly great, but pretty good against a 2/3 Dina.
Well, it says target player mill, so you can target yourself if you wish.
Ooh. Looks like we're either holding up a deadly derision, otherwise we also just Moloch a turn.
Okay, so he's got a Deadly Derision as well now. John does, so they're both suited up with some removal here. Looks like John's just gonna. He wants to send this Karuga into the air, attacking the battle with a
Mm-hmm.
Wing
I
Shield
always forget
Entity.
about that line of text. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it grants another creature flying whenever it attacks.
Yeah.
But looks like Karuga's gonna hit the bin here. And so I think before Cody can block, he's just gonna deal gone bad this Dina here.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me, right? Like, I'd much rather get rid of my average removal spell than the shield token on my 2/3. You even get 2 damage in for your trouble.
And he's milled a Diregraph Horde, which is that was one of the very ubiquitous cards from Midnight Hunt. There, the 5 mana 3/4 that brings 2 Decayed Zombies with it.
Oh yeah.
That was a premium card. Here's a Death Knell Berserker. Yeah, so 2 mana 2/2, and when it dies, you get a 2/2 token if the Berserker had 3 power. So if you can pump it, it'll make a 2/2 when it dies.
So he could have, and this is a little bit of a note for John here. Like, he could have equipped the fan, which would have triggered the 2/2, but
Yeah.
obviously there's something else going on that he doesn't necessarily know about quite yet.
All right.
Okay,
And that
gonna
would be
slam off the Moloch.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it here in response to the capture weird. You're pretty much priced into doing it either way. Looks like we're picking up an Invasion of Lorwyn, which is a great pickup.
It's a good
But what
one.
it means is that the weird's not going to flip up, let's say, like a counter spell. We've already seen one counter spell. You don't want to counter spell.
Invasion of Lorwyn's a good one, unless you're trying to kill a Glissa with it, as I tried to do in
I've done that before.
one of the qualifier play-ins a couple weeks back. One of those, they had a couple of those. Yeah, I just said, well, finally got my 6 mana. I can get this Glissa off the board. Oh, well.
Whoops. Yeah.
So he's going to send in a pretty free attack here with the Wing Shield Agent. He could have given the Timuret flying, but then it would have traded with the high-speed hover bike, so not exactly what he would have wanted there.
Yeah, I kind of think that Cody's just got to kind of take it, right? I don't want to trade off any of my things for a shield counter.
No, shield counters, yeah. Like, it wasn't clear when the set first came out or when we first saw the cards what a shield counter was worth. And usually a shield counter trades for a card in the opponent's hand or a card or a creature in play, almost always.
Yeah, and it looks like the vehicle, which isn't really doing a whole lot here, but
the shield
looks like it's
were basically 2-for-1s, more or less.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons why brokers were exactly broken.
Yeah, and that disciplined duelist was the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, so in comes Evasion of Lorwyn. No attacks here. It looks like until somebody breaks the parity, there's just going to be a bunch of average creatures staring at each other. But here comes Skyclave Aerialist, which is decidedly an above average card, to be sure.
Yes.
Flip in here, gets a land, so just lands right now for John in a Deadly Derision.
Mm-hmm. We've got that 4/4 on our set of battlefield, the 5 mana 4. Picked up the it's a 3 mana backup with Death Touch. I forget it.
Okay, the Serpent Blade, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Debating on trading off the Moloch here. Notably, the backup mechanic works quite well with this 2/2 that's on Cody's side of the battlefield.
Yeah, the Berserker. Yeah, that was not a premium card back in Call Time. It was okay in your black-red aggro deck, and sometimes if you needed an elf for your black-green deck, you just threw it in there because it says elf, but not a premium card, but it was acceptable.
I mean, we're just kind of going back to what we said before. Context matters, right? And a 2/2 that would make another 2/2 after it's been backed up. That's kind of great in this format.
Oh yeah, if there was a card similar to this, that would have pretty high value, I would say.
An Invasion of Olgrafa is the top deck here, but it looks like
that's a nice one too.
So if Cody wants to try to get in with and try to flip up his invasion, he could back up something, maybe equip something, try to swing in, flip up the evasion. It sounds like that's sort of the plan. Maybe he also gets the sense that John doesn't really have a lot of gas, because flipping up the Invasion of Vryn doesn't really do a whole lot if you can't have anything to do with it, right? It's just a copy a spell that doesn't exist yet.
So is he going to put it on the Moloch to make really... I mean, putting it on either makes really awkward blocks because John's highest power is 2. Yeah, so he's making the Death Knell Berserker now be like, this is a real problem here. Well, at least this turn.
Exactly.
And going forward, he could make it a bigger problem with the Battle Fan too.
Does John have anything in hand? Or the Deadly Derision?
Yes, Deadly Derision, but cannot cast it at this time.
So I think this probably looks like you're trading off with the Moloch with either your flyer or the 2/2, would be my guess, and maybe letting the 3/3 hit in for some damage. I don't want to flip. I don't want to let the Invasion of Lorwyn flip.
Well, he could let it flip and then Deadly Derision the creature that it makes, if he wants to.
True.
That's an option. Like often, unless the creature has like a devastating enter the battlefield ability, like Invasion of Amonkhet or something. Often, if my opponent wants to flip their battle and I have a removal, I just let them do it, and then I get the backside basically with my removal.
I think this is a good opportunity to trade off with the Moloch, though. I mean, I wouldn't mind Timuret trading off with the Moloch, but it looks like John's got bigger
I
plans.
think he wants to keep the Timuret just for the exiling ability with the gain life.
Sure.
And so he's drawn a swamp, so that's of no help here, except maybe to activate Timuret a couple more times. He is going to get to kill two things here with his Vryn flipping into the Mage Ring.
Having already seen one trick that gives indestructible, I would be a little surprised if John doesn't go for it right now, because he almost assuredly wants to kill the 5/5 right away. But it looks like he's gonna wait.
He's gonna let him untap here. What's Cody holding aside from the big 4/4?
Doesn't really matter. That's what he's playing.
Oh, Karfel Kennel Master. Oh, this was this guy holds a spot in my heart. I in Call Time League I had a very aggressive red black deck which featured 3 of these at my top end.
Up to 2 creatures get indestructible. Guess which 2 creatures are likely going to be targeted by Deadly Derision?
Yeah, this is John's got to be pretty okay with this card getting hit down. Usually, this card just applies a lot of pressure, obviously.
Yeah.
But here, it's not going to work out exactly great. But he says, "Hey, maybe as removal, let me target one. Let me not target the 5/5 here."
Sure, get a little bit of value out of it.
Yeah. So the Moloch will be able to get in, or one of the creatures will be able to get in safely here.
Yeah, sitting in Cody's hand still. He's got a little bit of gas left. We've got that in, which should be able to clear off a blocker, gain a little bit of life, and then a Dina, which not terribly impressive, but perfectly fine, I think.
I didn't hear the first card; it just cut out slightly.
Sorry, Invasion of Olgratha.
Okay, right, yeah, you mentioned that last turn. So here's just going to exile some more stuff from the graveyard. Okay, so he's just going to let this indestructible happen, and he's just going to kill the threats rather than kill the things that it's giving indestructible for a turn. He's just going to take a boatload of damage and then be able to block going forward.
I mean, saving the timer, well, I would have traded with it last turn, but he elected to save it. That's going to mean that he's going to be gaining a lot of life over the course of the game. You know, you've got good trades into a 4/2 and a 3/1. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so he said, I don't want to deal with a 4/4, and I definitely don't want to deal with that Invasion of Lorwyn backside, which can get even bigger. So let me kill those. I'll take a bit of pain this turn, a lot of pain, actually. But he's drawn Artistic Refusal, so he can stop whatever the next big spell is here.
I think Cody's trying to see if he can hold this Invasion of Olgratha for a lethal burn spell. If he gets to get Dina on the battlefield, total damage.
I think he wants to deal 3 damage directly to John's life total at this point.
The forehead, right? Yeah, absolutely.
He's not really concerned with the creatures. Like, you know, combat is perfectly fine for him. He doesn't need to clear out anybody. So John's really valuing this Tim right here for the life gain. He's not going to be trading it off at any time, basically, as we've seen. So the board's turned off.
Yep. In the middle of the combat, Cody elected to try to add a new friend. And the new friend he's trying to add is, I should have killed the Timuret. That guy's a dick.
Yeah, he frequently communicates to us viewers through that little box there. He's been known to be have some lively conversations using that. He always brings a fun energy, I will say that. He's done just about all. He's been part of, I think, every stip match that we've had so far. He's done Brawl in week 1. He did basically play every card in your pool.
Oh.
He's done play 10 of every basic. So your deck has to contain 10 of every basic. And whatever else you want to throw in. So they did Brawl. Him and Miranda did a Brawl match, which is our longest feature match ever at 82 minutes earlier this league.
Wow.
Week 2. So, Cody is here for the entertainment. And you know what? Maybe while it's not optimal for winning matches, look, he's the player of the year for last year, and he's a league winner. So, he can back it up. He can afford to play a few state matches, and he'll still.
I was gonna say certainly better than I've done.
He'll still get his wins in him. I'm sure of that. So always here bringing the fun energy. And John has some nice follow-ups here that he found off of the Artistic Refusal, which is title Terror Breeding Champion. And in his hand, the card I wish not to pronounce but will, which is Ichthyomorphosis.
Sure. Turn him
The
into a
enchantment
fish.
that turns something into a lowly fish, yes. So he could be going fishing here if he sees a juicy target.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I were John, I'd probably hold on to that because right now you feel like driver's 11.
Yeah, we do have the
I think
Elgrotha, which is going to come down. Likely, let's see if he feels like he wants to kill Timrat or the Flyer here.
it feels like it's a little too late.
Yeah.
Temmerit's already kind of done a lot of the work to do. He's probably gained what 6 life over the course of the game.
Yeah, this was a really interesting include in this set, just because there's so much self mill. Like in Theros, this card was insanely premium, and I think it's also pretty premium in March of the Machine, just because of how much self mill there is.
I do
Just
think
grabbing
because
stuff out of the graveyard.
how heavy like some of the bombs are here, it doesn't necessarily feel as strong, right? The entire power
Yeah.
level of mom is so much bigger, but it certainly is like the exact premium uncommon that you're looking for in a black deck.
Yeah, very useful. We have Mire Triton here, a little death touch creature that mills 2 and gains some life. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
making up. He's gained a nice amount of life since that big attack a few turns ago, which is why he kept the Timrat around. He said, "Well, I'm going to gain back all that life, and then hopefully I can draw better than Cody." And he, got that Artistic Refusal that drew him some action, and now he's going to deal chunks of 5 damage here.
Now, major props to John here. So these are the kinds of plays that you expect for people to make once they're familiar with their deck, right? These are lines that you say, okay, I've got a lot of life game deck. Coming. I can afford to take 11 damage or whatever on turn 5. These guys built their decks in 5 minutes, right? And so to sort of understand that and just really make sure that you are aware that you have a lot of life gain and then make plays accordingly, that's very impressive stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, again, they were rushed into the deck building here. They, there was no advanced planning that this is what they wanted to do with it. But here we are. Okay, he's got a little fight spell here with his guy indestructible, and he's going to get his 3/3 flyer, which is probably going to be promptly turned into a fish, I would imagine. Yeah, so one thing I will say about John's deck building is he does have the card Invasion. I believe he has Invasion of Arcavios, and he just randomly dragged about a third of his sideboard in.
Yeah.
So he just sort of grabbed the top portion of his sideboard and copied pasted that, but not the entire sideboard. So he might be in for a surprise when if he casts it this game.
As somebody who's cast many Invasion of Arcavius, I might have the title of most Invasion of Arcavius cast this league. Notably, it also does get things from your deck and graveyard, which probably what I used most of it, right? Being able to rebuy a Deadly Derision, because you're going to be including that kind of stuff anyway. But there was a game where I had a couple of off-color lands. I was primarily in Grixis, but I had a Witherbloom Campus, so a green land in there as well. I did go get a Witherbloom Command, and I was able to cast it right away. It was so certainly something that is possible.
Yeah, I will say back in one of our Chaos leagues, I had a Fae of Wishes in my opening pool. And for the first couple of weeks, I was like, okay, this card's cool. And then it quickly became the best card in my deck by a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was playing a 2-color deck, but I just played all my dual lands because like we were literally just every loss you got a random pack of like a set that was on Arena. Like there was no rhyme or reason to it, just a random set. So I was just picking up all sorts of stuff and I was just grabbing crazy stuff out of the sideboard all the time. So those cards get better as League goes on. Like a lot of cards, they either stay the same or get worse. But a card like that just gets better and better. So as predicted, his the grandma is now a fish. Sad.
Good old grandma fish.
Yeah.
One thing to kind of note here, Cody's only on 5 mana. Just sort of seems that he's drawn a bunch, gotten damage in, but anything if he were to draw like a 6-drop or a 7-drop, he doesn't have access to those things. Whereas John is, he's hitting hard.
Yeah, this Shattered Seraph is going to threaten alongside the other damage he has to really put this game away kind of quickly if he wants to.
Cody definitely on the message he'd like to send to chat saying life gain is cheat. He feels cheated out of this game based on the amount of life gain. And looking at the math right now, even only attacking with flyers, John has a 3-turn clock, and currently Cody can't do anything about it.
Like most decks are, equipped to deal 20 damage, maybe 25. once you get into like the 30 plus amount of damage range, it's hard. It's real hard.
Yeah. Cody is
You
not
have
here
to
to
have a
grind.
real
So
hard luck on the game in order to deal that much damage quickly.
yeah, absolutely.
So he wants to decide what to attack. He obviously can't attack with too much because he's staring down some big power here.
Yeah, I think I like holding back the 5/6 because it blocks really anything on
Yeah.
the side of the board profitable. And like I mentioned, if you attack with just the Printing Champion this turn, you get to attack with both flyers next turn and then both flyers the turn after that for a win. But it looks like
Yeah.
he's going after the line where he attacks 5 damage
Looks like
and then he attacks 5 damage plus the 4/4 in the air.
He's
So
just going to throw a chump block here, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, the title turret doesn't even match up that well once the 5/5 gets a battle fan on it, so...
I don't think he chump blocks this turn. I think he takes, 12 damage. The entire thing goes through because next turn, what John does is he attacks with a Tidal Terror and the 4/4 in the air. He taps both of them down. The Tidal Terror is now unblockable, and that's lethal damage.
Yeah, he's just gonna... Yeah, it looks like he is gonna take this all. Did Cody draw anything interesting for the turn here?
How do you feel about Swamp?
As a magic card, I have an appreciation for it, but I would not be happy to draw it in this spot now.
Certainly better than Island, you know what I mean? I got him.
No.
Diversifying some threats here, getting in a little bit.
I mean, yeah, the Ichthyomorphosis does not give Defender, so the Grandma Fish over there is free to get in.
Old Nana Fish. One thing to note, like John's making decisions, Cody's pretty much tapped out entirely. He's got a black, not really all that exciting. Looks like he's going to be face up on the table,
yeah, he's telling John, let's pack it in here, making sure to use every ounce of mana left.
And notably, again, like John used so much life this match, right? He's only got 4 left. That 4 was what the Seraph gave him when it came into play. Obviously, he could have played a little bit differently, but that buffer really allowed him to close the game out this turn rather than having to wait next turn.
All right. So we got the win here from John, which means we are getting a game 3. Since we get to spin the wheel yet again. So off we go. Hopefully we can end up with a stip that doesn't take several minutes to figure out how to find the cards that allow you to build your deck. No one's perfect. All right. I think I'm doing a screen share here. Let's... Everyone sees the wheel? The wheel is in view.
Wheel. Spin the wheel.
Price is right. All right. What do we got? Oh.
10 of each basic.
All right. Hope you're ready to play 120 card decks because you got to throw in 10 of each basic land. Whatever else you wish to put in your deck. Put whatever you like, but got to play 10 of each basic. Everything else is...
Alright, start that fucking clock, I guess.
Alright, with 9:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get 9:29 there. Alright, so...
let me...
you guys want to stream your deck build in there? We can...
How many lands can someone do the math for us real quick so we don't have to do math? How many lands should we have? I mean, how many non-lands should we have? Like 70?
Yeah.
Yes, you play 40 and 100. You play 50 and about 120-ish.
Yeah, well, so 120.
We play 25 lands in 60 card, right? So double that. And you're looking at
so 50 land, 70 non-land is what I'm looking at. All right.
Yes, unless you want to play any amount of dual lands.
All right, I'll mute myself now.
All right. So we're into our deck building portion here. Once John mutes himself, we can start commenting on, or deafens, we can start commenting on what we're looking at. So John, I mean, I don't know what's the right way to do this. If you're playing 5 color, if you're just playing like 2 or 3 color with a bunch of colorless lands, we'll see.
One thing that who am I looking at here? One thing that John pulled out instantly was Yorion. He gets a free companion. He gets a free Yorion here.
I guess so.
Right? Because if we're currently supposed to be playing 60 cards, I think 120 cards at least qualifies for Yorion.
Yeah, that's how that works.
And then we just saw the Seraph in the last game, which, you know, was obviously very powerful once he cast it, but the original 2 mana to kind of fix your lands is going to be extremely powerful
And
compared to also.
He's pulled down a card I've never seen on the battlefield, which is Omnath, the new Omnath.
Locust of All. It sounds like you haven't been doing anything fun in draft. My cast that card many times.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's not good, but it's very well. Let's say this: it's certainly not good, but it definitely is great.
Yeah, so it looks like John's gonna maybe try and focus into a few colors here, but now looked like he was putting in Sultai cards, but now Chandra's making an appearance. So,
yeah, I mean, I think you want to play your bombs, right? You're going to play 70 non cards. You don't.
Yeah.
3 cards. Plus, we saw 2 Kami of Whispered Hopes, 2 Blighted Burgeoning, and I believe a Traveler's Amulet, a Skittering Surveyor. He's got some fixing in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land cyclers.
Yeah.
Plus the Shattered Seraph.
He'll manage.
I think he'll be fine.
At this point, they're kind of just clicking because they got 2 minutes on the clock here to go over the deck, but we're here for it.
Yeah. I have no idea what Cody's going after, but it looks like he's just kind of going through, picking out all of the best cards he can muster. Currently, he's at 39 non-land cards, and he's going to have to just continue to pick out just good ones.
Yeah, trying to get inside Cody's head is not for the faint of heart, I'll say.
He's got some Overgrown Pest. That's certainly going to help him out. He's got some removal. That might help him if he can cast it.
All right. So it looks like...
Looking at the old demonic bargain is coveted.
Yeah. Is that the exile the top 13 and then tutor?
I think so, yeah.
That seems actively fine.
I know, right? I've never seen it. I've never seen a spot where it's been like, oh, yeah, this is exactly what I want. But here it's good.
Yeah, the demonic bargain is the card that you say, yeah, I'm going to open Vow because of all the powerful rares, and that's what you get.
Yeah, right. In that effect.
So John has actually brought Chandra into the sideboard now. Maybe just rethinking and saying, I'm just going to play Sultai with 20 colorless lands, more or less. No, I think Chandra is powerful enough. He is deciding on that as his last few cards here. Like I said, he might just say, I'll play 20 colorless lands and hope for the best. And he has quite a few cards with double symbols, but they're mostly up at the top of the curve. So his early game, he's going to be able to hopefully cast spells. We've seen this step multiple times actually, and it's the games kind of end up being whoever casts the most spells wins, which kind of applies to a lot of games of Magic, but specifically these ones more so than usual.
What I'm really disappointed in is that I'm seeing that Yargle and if there's ever a deck to play your Yargle and Multani, it's this one. So shame on you.
I don't see a Voldarin, whatever it's called, the Thrill Seeker anywhere.
Oh, doesn't need it. You just need a kite sail, my friend. A flying Yargle? Name something better.
Most things.
No. Sounds like you're not having a good time.
Well, there's not that many better ways to deal with 18 damage with one card. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Wait. Kite Sail gives a pump, no? It's 19?
Oh, yeah. And God forbid you have 2 kite sails. One for Yargle, one for Multani. It's the best.
2 kites? Wow. That's bold. No, it looks like it's going to live in the sideboard as it frequently does, for better or for worse. Looks like John is once again going with the randomly import some portion of my sideboard, but not all of it. Strategy.
Looks like Cody over here, as I take a peek at his, he's doing 4-color, splashing green for fixing, as you do.
I like it.
His fixing includes Overgrown Pests.
Yeah, no, it's a choice. All right, well, we got to get the game going here. Let's get. I'll message John to share his arena since I think he's on there now.
Yeah, we gotta get.
Or
Cody
actually,
in
are
there
you able
well.
to message it? Just because I'm.
Yeah, I got him.
Recording here. Right. I think he is on arena now, though.
Great. I will ping Cody and tell him deck building is over.
It's done.
Time's up.
Yes. The title of John's deck is very correct. It's called Y with a question mark after it. Why? He has more than fulfilled the requirements for Yorion, yes.
Sounds good.
All right, well, looks like John's just looking over his deck one more time. The thing is that it's rough because you're basically at equal percentage to draw any of your lands, and like you need your green cards to cast your other cards, and you basically have a 20% chance of drawing enough green lands, more or less.
However much it sucks, I think there's not that much of a difference between 120 cards and 6 cards or whatever. So I would probably play almost.
Yeah.
And then maybe playing 130 at that point or whatever, right? Kind of put it a couple extra non-lands. But I think your duels are just so imminently important if you're going to be playing 5 colors like this.
Is Cody-Rayce, is he ready to roll here?
We're importing right now.
Okay, because it's looks like he's offline according to John. Can we give Cody a penalty for not being ready at the agreed upon time?
Yeah, make him play 5 more basics, one of each.
Yes, exactly.
He's got to play 11.
Yeah, let's intercede here and tell Cody has to play even more basics.
Nah, he's moving over to Arena right now. Look,
yeah, all right.
We'll get in the game here shortly.
So a fitting end to this nonsense. One of the most nonsense stipulations.
Continued nonsense seems exactly right as a fitting end.
Yeah, I mean the last stipulation wasn't as much nonsense as it was just like completely impractical for deck building.
Yes, if there was an easy way to say, okay, here's all your cards, it's probably a good thought exercise to do.
I mean, seeing it was on the wheel, they could have prepared a sealed deck beforehand, but
yeah,
they wanted to do everything on the fly.
One of the things I might suggest would be, that good thought experiment right around pack 5, maybe pack 7 of future leagues, not necessarily to play the game in, but if when you open up a sealed pool right away, and I certainly fell victim to this season, is I saw my Ragavan, I saw my Lutri, right? I saw some Grixis cards, and I kind of stuck with Grixis the whole time trying to make that work. And it did work for some, moments, but it wasn't until about, I think of my 8th loss when I just like stopped and rebuilt the entire pool. And eventually I still ended on Grixis, but some of the cards that I had concluded as staples that I was playing through the entire thing didn't end up making that cut. And so this sort of thought experiment, that they played last time, where you only play with you only build a deck with your punishment packs, I think is a really good, just experiment to run with. And then of course you bring back your other sealed cards so that way you can make it as powerful as you can. Yeah. But it's a good exercise for, new players, old players.
It's kind of a healthy way to look at your pool. And
yes.
Like me personally, I'm not a tinkerer. Me, it's like for better or for worse, I settle into my deck. Maybe I change in week 1 and week 2, but like by the end of week 2, I'm kind of settled in. I don't want to change my deck for better or for worse. I know there's other players who are constantly tinkering, like Caleb, who's going to be with us in our 3rd feature match. Like he often changes his deck, even when he's winning, even when he's in top 8. He'll open a pack, and if he sees like a couple of uncommons that were just on the verge of making a color good enough, he'll change decks even if it's been working. So it just varies how much people like to build and tinker around, and we're in with the game here. So
okay, great. I just pinged Cody to make sure that I can see his side.
Is he streaming or?
I think he's currently streaming the other window, so I'll just ping him here.
Okay, yeah. So we got John's hand here. He's got the all important card in his opening hand called Forest. That is of the utmost importance here, and he's got a Fertilid's Favor on top here with the Wary Thespian. So looks like he's going to be casting spells. He's got a bunch of powerful stuff to do.
Yeah, notably on Cody's side, you do see the Naya colored land, red, green, and white, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
No black. I think black is kind of one of the big ones that you want. But that's okay.
Yeah. Do we know what's in his hand yet, or we're still working on that?
Still working on that, I think.
Okay. He might just be in the game here. Maybe you can message John to message him in game. Maybe that'll do. If he's not checking his Discord, which is okay. So here comes Rada, Coalition Warlord, card that hasn't seen too much play here, but I guess when you're going to have domain frequently, the ability becomes quite a bit better.
I actually played this in a DMU quick draft the other day, and it was pretty good. It was not bad at all. Obviously in DMU domain was huge. In mom draft, it doesn't necessarily seem as good.
We try to be family friendly. Can you not say swear words like quick draft, please?
Oh, excuse me.
No.
Okay, I've got Cody's hand up here, and we're all on black and white cards. 4 cards that need black, 2 cards that are, of course, gold ones, and then a locked in the cemetery.
Yeah, this is kind of the downside of this stipulation, is that you're just at the mercy kind of like you can't like build your deck wrong or right. Like you just you try and focus on certain colors, but you're playing 10 of each basic, so you could just draw all the wrong ones. Like there's almost nothing you can do sometimes.
I gotta give John the edge here, because look at his basics. They're all in they've got the Kamigawa, nice arts. And although Cody's got nice arts here, they're all mismatching, different styles. If you're gonna go with some sort of fancy style of art, you gotta match them.
I suspect he may be doing it on purpose.
Oh, I'm sure he is. That very much seems like Cody, but
yeah. All right, so he's got an Invasion of Ikoria here. Gets to tutor out whatever the best 4-drop is here. See what he decides upon. He's got Glittermonger. That seems fun.
Sure.
Make it treasures. You just get to cast whatever you want.
Treasure is a good way to kind of get around this stuff. Even like something like a charging Kavu, I don't hate. Anything with battle allows you to end up get in with your 5/3, which is then a 6/4 to try to transform into Zalortha, and Cody can't really do anything.
Yeah, you were cutting out slightly again, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that a backup creature would be an excellent choice as well, because then your Wary Thespian allows you to get in, and you can transform into Zalortha, which would be very powerful.
Didn't look like he had any. At that mana cost, at least.
Obviously, Skittering Surveyor extremely powerful here in order to make. He's got all 5 colors. Cody continuously flashing up the Invasion Rotha in his, thinking that it's going to be extremely powerful if he can cast it next turn.
He can cast anything, yeah. He is going to offer the trade here, I guess.
Cody says, no thanks.
Nah, I'm good. I'm going to keep my Rada. So one thing that I thought Rada would be cool with in this set is you can get the ability from using it for Convoke. If you Convoke with Rada, it will trigger the ability. But the card red-green wasn't really a great deck, and that card just didn't really see. I've barely ever seen on the battlefield in March Machine, but that was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it was in the set.
Yeah, and I think that is certainly something. There's probably been one limited deck out there that kind of did that, but I think in general it's just not consistent enough to make those top decks.
Fertilid's Favor number 2 coming in here, and John resolving it correctly, targeting himself, unlike me in the open yesterday.
You cast blue and black cards, right? Not green cards.
Yeah. Well, it was in the first draft. I targeted my opponent. I don't even know why. I don't know how the card works. For those who listen to my most recent appearance on John's podcast, I think me and Fertilid's Favor are kind of like Chris York and Retraction Helix. Just don't put the card on the stack, and you avoid many, many problems. But Zalortha's coming to cause many problems here. And I think John's realizing he might have wanted to cast his Corruption of Tawashi first in order to draw a card, but
sure.
He's going to cast it now. He's not going to compound the error by not playing it. He still gets to draw a card off of the 4/4, but could have had 2 cards. But looks like this is very quickly spiraling out of control here, and this Furnace Host Charger is not really going to be of major assistance due to the two removal spells that John has access to, including one he's just going to fire off immediately here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is just par for the course when you've got some struggles here. Cody's got 4 black cards, all of which could have been very powerful things, but can't cast it with no black mana. He's hovering the concede button.
Yeah, he's
thinking about it.
This is 15 here. He doesn't have a way to add more damage, but I mean, unless we got a Sunfall coming up off the top of the deck, it's going to be big trouble.
True. I don't think I saw one in the pool.
And now Yorion gets to come and reset all the value.
Good for John. He's doing the
He
thing.
said, I don't even need those 2 counters on this Hitting Severe. I want the land in hand more than I care about it being a 3-4. I want that land. I want my card advantage.
Well, land draws him one more card and flips over the 4/4.
There you go. Well, everything comes back at end step, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Cody's letting John do his thing here.
Hey, a swamp.
Look at that.
Swamp in hand. We got it. All 5 colors on
I'm
Cody's
sure
side
he
of the
can
battlefield.
answer everything instantly with just that one swamp. Perhaps not.
He says in his new friend request, knew it. That's why I didn't concede. Had to show how bad luck I had.
Yeah, these guys take it all in stride. I mean, they know what they signed
Yes.
up for here. So
Absolutely.
This is going to be like the furthest away from bad feelings you're ever going to get. Even though some of the ways the game runs.
He tried to go out on his own style with Invasion of Ulgrotha, targeting himself to deal 3 damage, but he couldn't even kill himself because he gained a life at the same time.
It canceled out because it's okay.
It's lifelink. Oh. It's a nice alpha strike coming from John. It looks like he's going to be our winner.
Yeah, well, we are getting the stipulation. Master has been taken down here by John. So John gets to stay alive. He gets to play normal matches for the rest of the week, presumably. And Cody gets to go out with in a blaze of glory, as it were, or perhaps drowning in a swamp of glory. All right, so thank you to these players for this massively entertaining ordeal they put us all through tonight, and thanks for watching. We'll be back with our 3rd feature match in a little bit.